Brake, brake, brake. Well, we did it again. We bought another car. For only $600, we got ourselves an M5. Just kidding. It's actually an E34 535i with an M5 body kit on it. Well, part of one. But the cool thing is it's got a 5-speed manual transmission. Currently, the Backspeed Boys headquarters is at maximum capacity. We got the $100 Mercedes up on the lift. We're just waiting for the torque converter, which should arrive in a few days. We've got the M6. Yes, that's right, baby. We are back to working on the M6. Me and Lenny have been working on it. I think we're gonna get it running. In fact, I'm not gonna give up until I get it running. I ain't fucking leaving. We're getting my cheap V10 Supercar on the road, hopefully within the next month or so. But until then, had to go buy another car. So me and Lenny scoured Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Craigslist, and the whole idea was let's get a car for $500. What can we get? And after we found this piece of shit that doesn't run, has tons of problems, doesn't even have a title, the lowest the guy would go was 600 bucks, so I said, fuck it. But wow, what a cool looking car. Now, I have no idea if it actually runs. Clearly, it's got some problems. Problem number one, it doesn't have a title. Problem number two, it has over 250,000 miles. Problem number three, it doesn't have any bumpers. Problem number four, it has 2 spoilers. Yeah, that's pretty jank. Problem number five, it's got a janky exhaust system, but we did look it up and it looks like it's an aftermarket one worth nearly 3 times what we paid for the car. So that's good news. Next problem, well, this thing looks beat. It's got painter's tape on the janky aftermarket intake setup. It's leaking a ton of oil, but if it leaks oil, it's got oil. And we're gonna try to get it running in under 24 hours. Okay, we're gonna rinse down the car, clean it, and then we're gonna trailer it to the shop.
I am one of those melodramatic fools.
Hey, you don't think the camera on?
No doubt about it.
Oh, foot is so scratched.
Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid?
Okay, we got the car up on the lift. We're gonna take a little backspeed inspection, see what's wrong with it. Obviously, we know there's a lot wrong with it, but how badly are we fucked? I mean, we bought a $600 car. Clearly, there's gonna be issues. I don't even know if the engine's blown or not. So before we try to get it running, let's just kind of go through, see if it's even safe to drive, what's wrong with it, other little things that we can find. And already, I haven't even looked all the way through, already I'm noticing things. Like first of all, right here on this sway bar, it's not attached. I mean, that's easy, we could fix that in a second. Something that's kind of a major issue is I kept smelling gas as we were putting it up on the lift. And if you look right here, it's leaking gas, which is incredibly dangerous. We gotta fix that before we drive it. And it's already dripped a little bit on the ground. So leaking gas is not a good thing. At least the gas is cleaning up the oil on the ground. Okay, so when we look at the brakes, it's got these slotted and drilled rotors, which is kind of cool, although there's kind of a little bit of a lip on it, but the pads look basically brand new. So that's good news. And the brakes work, you know, just pushing it around. That's a plus in my book. Yeah, this is an aftermarket exhaust system. It's the one that we found online, worth around $1,500. That's good news, I guess. Okay, so we can see that the shielding on the exhaust is kind of torn up. Hopefully there's no holes in the exhaust. Don't want to hear an exhaust leak. The transmission is just soaked. Now, one of the things when we were looking for a car is it's gotta be a manual transmission, because we know with a budget of around $500, we're gonna get something with 250,000 miles or so, and the automatics blow up around that. Actually, way before that. Manuals can last forever. Clutches, though, it depends on how you drive it. So we will find that out, hopefully. So now we got the engine here, and the owner was putting new oil in the car right before we put it on the trailer, and he told us it doesn't leak oil. Well, that was a big fat lie. As you can see, the fresh oil that he just put in already leaking. The AC, I'm gonna assume, doesn't work because there's no belt on it. These belts are cooked. I mean, they have a decent amount of tension, but they need to be replaced. They look old as fuck. The good news is pretty much every ball joint is like in really good shape. You know, it leaks oil, but you know, what BMW doesn't leak oil? It's, you know, no big surprise. Overall, there's a lot of problems, but we've gotten worse. So let's get it on the ground. Let's get some power to it. I think the car needs a battery. So we'll get a battery in it, and then we'll start trying to crank it and see if, you know, if it works. Figure out what we need to do. Okay, the first thing every car needs is power. So we gotta locate the battery and figure out what's wrong with it. So I'm gonna assume it's underneath the hood, which, by the way,
This car has a hood that opens the right way. Pretty fucking beat engine bay, but I don't see a battery. I don't know.
What about that box right there? This one's definitely the fuse box.
That's the
What's
fuse?
that? Yeah.
Okay, let me open this.
I know we haven't even gotten the engine running yet, but it would be cool if there was a bunch of ITBs coming out right here.
Dude, that'd be awesome. By the way, the paint color for this car is BMW Gletscher Metallic.
Which translates to glacier blue, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I actually like the color a lot.
And that's not a battery. Very clean though.
What is that? The ECU?
Yeah, I think that's the ECU.
A lot of BMWs have it in the trunk. Yeah, I love how the color matches my M6.
It might be the same paint code. Maybe they kept
I think it is, probably.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably in here. This thing is beat. Classic BMW. There's no working struts.
What do we have?
We have...
A lighter?
No? I don't know. We have, it looks like a piece for the intake. Oh, that's nice. A distributor cap for a car that has 4 cylinders. We got some tools. We have a syringe. This will come in handy. Anyways. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a stock wheel right there, dude. Back when BMW was cool, before run flats, when they actually gave you a freaking spare tire. But what is this? Wound wash. I probably shouldn't touch that. Anyways, okay. Okay, we have some gloss red pepper spray paint. This will be going in the collection. A glass cleaner and liquid moly installation paste. There's a picture of a crankshaft on here. That's not good. That's bad news. Moving right along. I don't see a battery. Don't see a battery. Oh,
My old Beetle had it underneath the seat.
you're right.
The rear seat.
I mean, that's the only other place it could be. That was easy. Is that black? Part of the interior is blue, part of it's black. Oh, definitely found where the battery's supposed to go, but there is nothing there.
I think it's safe to assume that that's a battery terminal.
All right, the BMW shop down the street actually had a battery that should work for this car. Wasn't cheap though.
Nothing's cheap with BMWs.
I'm not sure if this battery is like made to fit here, but it works. Okay, let me tighten these down. Oh boy.
That's good news.
That's good news. Okay. Okay, we're connected. I think we should turn the ignition on, see what happens. See what lights come on.
Okay, battery's connected. We're about to do our first start. We checked the oil. Oil's good. We topped it off. You never want to crank it with old, dirty oil. The problem is that since this thing leaks oil, every time you put new oil in, you're basically doing an oil change. So oil's good. Let's go. I don't want to run it for too long.
Oh, fuck, that didn't sound good.
Are we getting power to the starter?
I guess we're going to go check that. So it's not, you're going all the way and nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening.
Shit.
Okay, so after digging for like 20 minutes, I figured out the problem. So one of the main wires that go to the starter was completely cooked. That's really bad. Maybe it's super corroded inside and it caused a bunch of resistance. I'm not sure why this happened. We got to keep an eye on, make sure it doesn't happen again. But good news is I actually found a black wire I had laying around in the shop. I already installed it on the starter. I broke this thing, this cover, holding, that's where the fuse is. So we're just gonna duct tape this back into place. Okay, the new wire is tight. I think we are green lit. Let's freaking crank this thing and see if it starts. Oh, yeah. Okay, turn it off.
Okay, so the engine's not blown up, hopefully. It actually did start up pretty easily. It's not too bad. So
Sound like shit though.
let's pull the plugs next. That's the only other thing I could think of right now is check the plugs, see what's going on.
I mean, we probably should replace them anyways.
And let's do a compression test while we're at it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Might as well.
First, spark plug. Oh, God, this thing's greasy, dude. Oh, look at the gap on that, dude.
Hold on, let me see.
That is so fucked. It's like, there's no gap. Dude, these are fucking screwed.
Just re-gap it.
If that's how the first one looks, I think we gotta get new ones. Let's go get new plugs and let's compression test this in the meantime and we can check it off the list.
Okay, we got a brand new set of plugs. These ones are dark, so that way when it leaks oil, you can't really see it. And then of course, we got our little compression tester. So this is really important. That way we could check the condition of a lot of things, but most importantly, see if all 6 cylinders have the same kind of compression. If there's anything wrong, this will give us no. Especially when it was running as shitty as it was, you gotta do this. Go ahead, crank it.
What are we at?
About 150.
Not too bad.
Yeah. So we just gotta test and make sure if they're all 150, we're good to go. Okay, we checked compression. Every single cylinder was about 150 to 155. Like one that was like 157. Overall, pretty decent. Not too bad for a motor with 250,000 miles on it. So that's one more good piece of news that we have right now. Now we got brand new plugs. The old ones, I mean, some of the plugs we pulled out, they look fine, but since we're replacing a few of them, might as well just do all of them. I mean, these things are dirt cheap anyways. It's not like the iridium tip ones that are really expensive. So with BMWs, you gotta go down this long passage, and that's why you need an extension. So we pop it in here.
Okay, all the spark plugs are in. We did the compression check. We're good to go. All the wires have been checked. I think it should run now. Fingers crossed. Come on, baby, come on. Oh, dude, I think we did it. Yeah!
So for 600 bucks and having to tinker with things and buy a new battery and all this stuff, we have a running, well, okay, I can't say running yet, but I want to make sure that there's that the transmission works. We don't have a bunch of neutrals.
Dude, we got the engine running. That's
the engine runs, which is great. Here's the thing, I know we're all excited, but like there's still so much else that needs to be tested. Okay, let's drive this thing, see if it works.
Okay, real quick before we head out on the road, I did real quick just unbolt this bracket. I put in the rear sway bar link or whatever, bolted it back up, had to use a bunch of WD-40, really push it on there, but that's connected now. And also real quick, we found where the leak was coming from the fuel tank. It was a stupid hose clamp, so we threw a hose clamp on there. This thing is ready for the road. Let's get it down and get her out of here.
Okay, we'll start it up and see if it drives. Okay.
No way.
It drives in reverse. Now does it drive forward? That's the question. Probably.
No way, dude, fuck yeah. Dude, we got a car for 600 bucks.
I mean, it still needs a lot of shit, but
it's a running car.
Okay, it's weird, I can hear the belt. We gotta change that belt ASAP.
Yeah, the belt, like the flutter.
The brakes surprisingly
And all the girls say I'm pretty fly.
Oh, white
He
guy.
made some cool tunes, not just any rules to fight, but they didn't have ice cubes, so fucking no lights. Now cruising in his Pinto.
This thing is zippy,
Dude, it's such a fun, it's like a little go-kart.
Dude, no way.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Shifter linkage is like, look. The shifter's off. So,
Dude, what the fuck?
So we gotta, the shifter's super
But it
like,
shifted smooth though.
Actually really easy to drive. And this seat's actually really comfy too.
Holy
I mean, I guess it's a luxury car, but you guys have to understand, I'm a diehard American muscle guy. That's what I've always driven, that's what I've always had, and I've always had the worst pieces of shit. This is my first time driving a European car, and usually I stick my nose up to them, but I'm having a good time. Like, I actually enjoy this. This is actually really fun.
DJ, I want to drive it now.
First reaction, as someone who drives American muscle cars, cars that are clunky, cars that are heavy and big and, you know, hard to fit into parking spots, you're in this little car, it's compact, even though it's a 5 Series, it's larger than like the other E30s, and not only does it handle so much better than like an American muscle car, but overall, even though it's not that light, it feels light, it feels nimble. That's the word I would use, and I love it. And you pair that up with a stick shift, it's basically a sports car. I know it's an old 90s, squarish, just like, it looks like it belongs in a junkyard. It's missing fenders, but overall, the fact that I could turn and, you know, I don't have the wheels skidding and you don't feel the body roll, you know, in my Chevelle, I love my Chevelle, but when you're driving the Chevelle, all you feel is body roll in every corner and turn, and, you know, I've done things to help mitigate that. But overall, this car, it's a compact sports car that inline 6, naturally aspirated 3.5 liter, gives you linear power. I put my foot down on the throttle and the car just goes. It's zippy, it's not a rocket ship, but it's quick. Especially, you know, my expectation for this car based on the way it looks is down here. So, just an amazing driving experience. I think right now that everyone out there, and probably some of you guys watching, are huge, you know, Euro nuts that own all kinds of cars like this. But if you don't, and maybe you own a modern BMW or whatever, or let's say you don't even own anything, say you own just a bunch of Matchbox cars. You need to go buy one of these cars right now. If you gotta put a second mortgage on your home, if you gotta create an OnlyFans for your girlfriend, do whatever it takes so that you can muster up a few $100, buy a car like this, and go drive it. Maybe spend a little bit more than we did, get something a little bit nicer, but everybody needs to drive this type of car. I did not expect, I mean, you know, it's a 6-cylinder and it's from the 90s. I thought it'd be a lot slower. It's not, you know, a rocket ship,
zippy.
but it's zippy is what I would call it, yeah. Here, Lenny's got to drive. I'm a much better driver than him, though.
All right, we'll see about that. As someone that has owned multiple BMWs, they're all turbo powered. Now this thing is naturally aspirated, and the power curve is super linear. It is a completely different driving experience than what I'm used to, especially with the stick shift. Being able to row through the gears and having like kind of more that torquiness power that you don't usually get with a car with a turbo because of turbo lag and stuff like that, it's pretty awesome.